As a college undergrad, I was tutoring in the inner city of Washington, D.C., which I'm not great with statistics, but I think the population was then 75% black, and the school system was 90% black, because anybody of means sent their kids to the private schools, including all our elected officials. Plus, in 1967, if everybody thinks, Massachusetts elected Edward Brooke as their senator. And to me, I always thought that was kind of schizophrenic, because it is truly a racist area. But I think the racism, if you look at it from an Irish Catholic point of view, Irish are very insular people. Catholics are very insular people.
What do you mean by that?
They don't trust strangers because of their discrimination. For 400 years, they were brutalized by the British.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm not drawing a parallel to slavery, but I'm saying that for 400 years, the Irish didn't have it good with the British, and then they come over here to a country which is run by
Yankees, yeah.
British. And you brought up a good point, Greg, and I think it might have been Cheryl too, is that when the Irish got their piece of the pie, they didn't want anybody else to have any of it. And they went to Scituate, Cohasset, the Irish Gold Coast, the Irish Riviera. They set up their own private clubs. JFK in 1963 said that when I'm done with my presidency and I go back to Boston, I will not be allowed into the Union Club. In Boston, there were private clubs, the Union Club, the Tavern Club, the Somerset Club, and there were old Yankee places that would not allow Irish people in them. So the Irish started their own club. She was Irish to the nth degree, and to this day, nobody in my family married anybody other than Irish Catholic. So I was imbued with the discrimination that the Irish experienced, and they experienced some pretty serious discrimination. It's certainly different than the blacks, there's no doubt about it. And LBJ actually had a great speech at Howard University where he discussed that the blacks is a different issue, it's a different problem, if you will. I had a lot of different people, and I learned to get along with everybody. It just so happens that we didn't have any blacks in the class or in the school or in my neighborhood. The thing that struck me as a kid, as I said, I was a big newspaper reader, the absolute violence that was going on then. I mean, I just remember Viola Liuzzo, she was a civil rights worker from Detroit.
Married to an auto worker.
Shot and killed.
Working class family.
James Meredith was shot in his own driveway. The three kids who were missing, and then they find them a week later, Sharina Goodman and Cheney. I mean, that's not just as bad as any discrimination would be, a de facto segregation. We talk about murder because of somebody's, the color of their skin, and the interest in trying to help the cause. That's what struck me about the early 60s, even though we were young, and a lot of this was over my head. I always wonder if I was a little older, if I would have partaken in the Freedom Summer or the Freedom Riders, the Freedom Rides, because it was really a noble effort.